busy with her orientation or something. Makara is at his thesis meeting. So two of them cannot join us. Hello, Lane.
Hello.
Lane, last time you told me you were a high school student, right? No, college. So we have many of you are from UHS. Like we have Maine, we have Makara, we have Tierney. They are three from UHS. Where are you from? What school?
Paragon.
Huh?
Paragon.
Paragon. What major is it?
Computer science.
Oh, I heard your school is going to be open back soon, next month.
No, I'm already on the summer, like on the vacation now. 3
yeah,
months
but
vacation.
once your vacation's over, you're going back to physical classroom, right?
Yeah.
No more online.
No more online.
Less fun. No more fun.
Yeah.
Are you a college student or just high school student? I forgot to ask.
I'm in grade 9.
Still not even high school yet.
Yeah.
Still in junior high. All right, let's just start today's class. Okay. I guess that's all we have for today. Only 4 of you. So we'll just start now. So today we'll be looking at 2 other formats of listening questions. We will look at table completion and picking from a list like reading as well. So first thing first, to remind you of the listening strategies, we'll have a quick preview or a warm-up. So this time, you know, in listening, we're doing a lot of spelling, right? In section of table completion or form completion. So that allows spelling, like numbering, spellings, dates, addresses, and stuff. So for now, we'll do a quick warm-up for your ears to revise about listening, and this one will be about spelling. So a tip right here, if a letter is repeated, they will say double E or EE 2 times. So pay attention to that. That's one tip. So read the questions first from 1 to 6, all and number wording spelling, not number. So look at the questions. I'll play. Did you finish looking at the questions? Okay. Yes. All right. Let's test the volume if this is loud enough.
Test 1, training. Spelling 3.
Not enough? Test. Okay, let's go.
1.
My address is 23 Borough Road. That's BOROUGH.
2.
Send your application to JWIC Limited. That's JAYWICK.
3. My name is Anna Fravelli. I'll spell that for you. FRAVELLI. 4. We'll meet outside Quarryside School. That's QUARRYSIDE. 5.
You need to get a bus to my village. It's Charlesworth. That's CHARLESWORTH.
6. Have a look at my website. It's www.kimmarshall.com. That's KIMMARSHALL.
All right. Hang on, let me check who's this. Hello, Jara. Jara, hello. We finished this first activity already. You can just check the answer with us, okay?
Okay.
Number 1, what's the spelling of number 1? Can someone tell me the answer?
B O
B
O
O
O U G A.
Okay. Number 2. More? I'll just call.
J speak.
J.
J. Okay.
Okay, so who's speaking?
It's okay. He can speak.
Okay, they can speak. Okay, who's speaking right now?
Me on.
Okay, you can speak on. We'll let you speak. So J.
JAYWICK.
I-C-K. Okay. Mới. Straight on.
F. F.
F.
O.
R.
A. V. E. L. L. I. Is this?
Is that right?
When I heard it, it's kinda. I don't hear clearly.
I think so.
Okay, let's see. Continue. Number 4. Let's hear from Kunthia.
Teacher, I just come back, so I only got the 5 and 6.
Okay, then let's hear from May again. Number 4 and 5. We can hear from Kunthia.
U A O Y F I D E.
Okay, Kunthia. 5. Thank you all.
C H A R L E S W O R T H.
Okay, last one, Kunthia as well. Let's go.
Yes, K I M A R S A L L.
Okay, so that's our spelling. So sometimes they say LL, sometimes they say double L. Okay, so that spelling will go to a number this time. This time it's number. So again, when it is 0, they can sometimes choose to say O, or sometimes they will say 0, like this. And if it's they talk about money, pay attention to the front. If they gave you a sign or the currency already, just put the money, the number inside. Number 6 right here. So when we talk about money, we say, for example, 4 pounds. So you can say pound or pounds, as it's optional, or euro or euros. But to be safe, since they gave you the sign already, just put 4.50. Stuff like that, in case you misspell the number. So let's check number 5. It's all about numbering.
Test 1 training. Numbers. 1.
I live at 391 King Street.
2.
A family ticket is cheaper. It's only $48.
3.
You can ring me on my mobile. The number is 07862 335 201.
4.
The theatre, which is very old, has been open since 1899.
5.
Take the application to the secretary, who is in room 117.
6.
Your flight will be £454.50, including taxes.
Okay, let's check your numbering. Let's hear from Rajara. Number 1, what's the answer?
391.
391. Very good. Number 2, Kuntia.
48.
48 or 28.
48.
Okay, thank you. May from 3, mobile phone number.
078 62 33 5201.
Okay, thank you. Lane 4, theater opened in.
In 1899.
All right. 5, who's on top of lane? Mall 5.
117.
Okay. And last one, mall again, cost of flight.
454.50.
454.50. Yes, 50. Thank you. So that's numbering. Now we're going to look at dates. So dates, all of here, number 6, they are all about dates. So tips down here. You can write a date in different ways to get marked. You can put the number first, but remember to put only like 3rd March or March 3 or 3 March. All the 3 options are accepted. Either one is okay. You will get marked for all of them. But check your spelling for the months. Make sure you spell the months correctly. Let's go to dates.
Test 1 training. Dates. 1.
The first day of the course is the 21st of September.
2.
I was born on the 1st of February, 1986.
3.
I have an appointment with Dr. Andrews on the 31st of March.
4.
We're getting married in December, on the 14th.
5.
I will fly into New York on the 11th of January.
6.
You need to come for an interview on the 7th of August.
All right, let's go. Let's check your date spelling. So this time, I'll put right here as a slash. Let's start from mall. The course begins on
21st September.
Which one do you prefer to write? You want to write 21 ST or which one?
21 ST.
And how do you spell September?
SEPTEMber.
Okay, thank you. Number 2, later on, what's the date?
Date is 1st February 1986.
How do you spell February?
FEB
Or?
RUARY.
Okay. Think Arian knows like spell February.
No one asked me to spell that month.
This is for the FEB. Number 3, May. Thank you.
31st March.
31st March. Okay, let's have all options. Number 4, who's under me? Cynthia.
14 December.
13 or 14?
14 December.
Okay. 5, Treasurer.
11th of January.
11th of January. How do you spell January?
January.
Okay, very good. And last one, Treasurer again.
7th of August.
August. Spell?
AUGUST.
Okay, very good. So that's a warm-up to your quick review on listening for spellings, numbers, and dates. All right, let's go to the first. So this is okay. We'll skip this. It's still again a measurement, numbering, but as a tip, you can choose to spell the measurement in full form or the shortcut. But remember, if you spell in the full form, like kilometers or meters, make sure you spell it correctly. So to be safe, just use a shortcut like M for meter, km for kilometer. Okay? It's still numbering. We'll skip this. So let's go to table completion. So what is the difference between table completion and form completion? Like last time we looked at form completion. Are they the same or a little different? Can someone tell me the answers? What's the difference between the two? Or they are both the same thing? Hello? Guys?
For me, I think a little different.
How?
Like they demonstrate or show us a table, like talking about the schedule of another event.
Okay. So thank you, which form of question?
Yes.
So which question form has sections for you to like pay attention to? So the two, you complete words in the gaps, same thing, but one of them, you need to look at the section that you have to complete the answers. One, it's just a general form, like your discussion list, for example. Which one has sections that you need to look at?
I think about completion session.
To focus. So what are the tips to complete table completion? Or they are just the same like form completion? Mo? How do you complete this form of exercise, table completion?
We have to pay attention while we listen.
Pay attention while you're listening to what? What section?
Every section.
Every section, okay. Pay close attention. Did you guys watch the video I sent in our class?
Not yet.
Again and again and again, like a song all the time. You don't watch it. What are we supposed to do? And then the tips, Lane. What else besides paying close attention to the listening?
We can guess the participant.
Guess the pilot stage.
Wait, yes.
Of what?
After the what do we call it? Uh, the word that we had to complete.
Okay, thank you. Kunthia, what's your tip on?
We may look for the keyword in the sentence.
Okay, thank you. Rachel, what about you?
Guess what the word might be.
Okay, thank you. May, do you want to add anything to this?
No, but look at the instruction.
Okay, so clearly look at the instruction. Let's put on top. Because
Yes.
it's very important. You need to know how many words you can complete. Don't forget to watch the video I sent in our class so you know in detail. Okay, let's have a look at this thing. Can you guys see my screen now? And we talk about our camera, everyone. You guys still turn it off. Okay, so we'll look at table completion. So mostly in the listening section, sometimes it happens in the fourth listening section. Sometimes it can be the first one or sometimes second one. So mostly with the lectures, and you need to write 2 or 3 words, and remember you have to write exact words that you hear. You cannot use synonyms or paraphrasing, and make sure you look at your spelling. Okay. So for table completion, you need to, like Mo said, pay attention to the listening, the speakers. So you have to follow what they are talking about, since they will be switching from one topic to another topic, because in this listening format, we have different sections to look at. So you might try to look at verbal signals. Mostly there are 4 kinds of verbal signals that they use in this kind of listening section. So they will use some signal to introduce a new aspect of the topic, like they finish one section and they want to change to another section of the listening of the table. Sometimes they want to give more explanation, so they develop the topic further with examples. So section B and C might be what you complete in your exercise, and sometimes they might refer back to the existing topic that they have mentioned already. So here are some expressions that you can or you might hear from the listening section in this kind of question. And they all have these 4 purposes. So let's look at the expressions quickly, and let's guess together what kind of purpose does each of the expressions have. For example, if we look at number 1, the reason for this words. So if a speaker in the listening uses this expression, what do you think they want to express? Introducing, developing, example, or referring back?
Developing.
I'm sorry, developing, okay, maybe because they have reasons to explain their topic. All right, let's look at this for like 2 minutes and start guessing what each expression means. Time as well, 2 minutes. Okay, start. All right, let's pick some to discuss. Let's look at number 5. Another experiment demonstrates what purpose does this sentence serve?
Introducing example.
Okay, introducing example. Thank you. What about number 17 on Lane? So we have looked briefly at what do you think the speaker wants to mean when they use this expression? Verbal signal. Number 17. So we have looked briefly at blah, blah, blah. So?
I think it's referring back.
Okay, very good. Referring back as you want to mention what we have discussed. Thank you. Mo, what about number 9 on? What do you think the speaker wants to convey?
Referring back.
Okay, anyway, for all these reasons, okay, referring back, thank you. Let's hear from Rachara, number 15. What do you think it means on another way of doing this words?
B. Developing the topic further.
Okay, very good. Developing topic further, thank you. Kunthia, hang on, your friends here. Kunthia, what about number 20? I will now tell you how.
I'm going to tell you how. Introducing an example.
Okay, example. Can we use this to introduce a new topic or new aspect of topic as well?
Yes.
Yes, okay. So here are some signals you might be experiencing in listening for this section, okay? Each listening might have different signals. So we'll do a quick practice on this one. So we have action plan or the tips which are very similar to what we discussed earlier. So first thing first, look at instructions. We put that in our section already in our PowerPoint. Number 2, look at heading of the table. Hang on, Panna is still joining. Probably his internet's not working. Number 3, read the column headings. Number 4, look at each row of the table in turn and think about the kind of words you need to complete. All of these tips we have discussed already. So we're going to look at a quick practice of table completion. So first thing first, how many words can you use to complete in this table?
No more than 2 words.
Can you put a number?
I think no, because they don't talk about it.
You think or you know? Number or no number?
No number.
Okay, no number. Very good, because they put only 2 words. So here are some tips along the way. So the answers are words which are not Hello Pana in the table. You will hear the exact word you need to write, but its context may be worded differently. So again, they use a lot of paraphrasing and synonym. So 31 until 33, they have some tips for you to do here. And 38, also some tips. So read the questions first and I'll go play our listening. Read the questions first.
Test 1.
Ready? Questions? Guys, did you finish? Kunthia, did you finish reading on?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so how many sections are there? How many columns in this reading?
1, 4,
4 columns. So the sections that you have to search for is the name, the new habitat, and the notes. So what kind of words would you need to listen to for the name section? Are they adjectives, noun, or what? Or they are species name, animals, like kind?
Noun.
Okay,
Species name.
species name. The new habitat, of course, it should be about what? Habitat.
Location, place.
Location, okay. Place, thank you. The note, so 31 in the middle of. What kind of word do we need in this section? In this question number 31.
Noun.
Name. Is the name something?
Name of some area, thank you. What about number 40? Arrival of.
I think talking about noun.
Okay,
The
a
people.
noun, probably people or animals. Okay, so let's go.
1. Exam practice. Listening, section 4. You will hear part of a lecture about exotic pests given as the introduction to a course on ecology and environment. First, you have some time to look at questions 31 to 40.
Pause the recording for 1 minute.
Okay, we finished this. I won't pause anything.
Now listen carefully and answer questions 31 to 40.
Good afternoon. I want this afternoon, as an introduction to our ecology module, to offer examples of exotic pests, non-native animals or plants which are, or may be, causing problems, which might prove a fruitful topic for seminar papers later in the term. People and products are crisscrossing the world as never before. And on these new global highways, plants and animals are travelling too. Exotic plants and animals are turning up in Antarctica and on the most remote islands on Earth. For example, the Australian red-backed spider. It's made its way to countries fairly near home, such as New Zealand and Japan, as some of you may know. Well, it's also been found on Tristan da Cunha, which is a remote island thousands of miles from anywhere, way out in the middle of the Atlantic. Now, another famous animal invader in the other direction, so to speak, from England to Australia in the southern hemisphere, is the rabbit. This was in 1830, and it might seem less of a threat, but it became an extraordinarily destructive pest. The fact that rabbits increased so rapidly is perhaps more understandable when we remind ourselves that they had originally been introduced to England from continental Europe 8 centuries earlier. This was because they were regarded as a luxury food source, and in spite of having warm fur, they probably originated on the hot, dry plains of Spain, which of course explains why they thrive in the climate of Australia. A much less cuddly example of a pest introduced to Australia, this time from America, is fire ants. These are increasing and spreading very fast. Their huge nests can now be found in gardens in the city of Brisbane, and they are costing the Australian government a great deal of money in control measures. These were an accidental introduction, rather than a deliberate one, brought to Australia probably in horticultural imports or in mud on second-hand machinery. As a biologist and conservationist, I have become increasingly concerned about these matters. Exotic invasions are irreversible and deserve to be taken more seriously, even when they aren't particularly damaging. For example, something that is not necessarily a major disaster compared to other ecological experiments. In 1975, an Australian species of earthworm was deliberately introduced to the Northern Hemisphere in Scotland because they were bigger than the natives. The aim was that they would be more effective than native species, but in fact, they don't do more for the soil condition than the smaller locals, which they displace. Although they don't do a lot of harm, as far as we know up to now, this will probably prove to have been a mistake. A much more serious case, also in Scotland, as well as other countries, along with the latest victim, Iceland, is the New Zealand flatworm. This is a most unwelcome newcomer in these regions of northwest Europe. Basically, this flatworm came into these countries by accident. It's now been realized that it was actually carried in the plant pots containing exotic ornamental shrubs and so on, and as it eats local earthworms and doesn't benefit the local ecology in any way, it is a real pest. Next, there's a further instance, this time in the water, and it's come from Japan. It's a delicious but very fast-spreading seaweed and is one of many exotic species, large and small, in the seas covering the rocks around Australia. Unfortunately, it is replacing indigenous seaweeds and permanently altering the ecosystem. However, to look at the situation from a business point of view, it is now being harvested and exported, dried, back to Japan, its original home, where it's particularly popular. So, sometimes we may find accidental benefits from apparently harmful arrivals. Well, you could say that world ecology is now going the same way as popular culture. Global music and fashions, food and drinks are taking over from local ones in every land. And in ecosystems, we find vigorous exotic invaders overwhelming native species and natural habitats. But can we find any examples of invaders which appear to be a problem and then find that in fact they may not be such a big issue after all? We might take as an example a native of Australia, the budgerigar, the most common pet parrot in the world, of course. Because there have been many escapes over the years, it is now to be found flying about in feral flocks where the climate suits it. So, these flocks of budgerigars have been getting very numerous in the southeast of the United States, particularly in residential areas. People have been getting quite worried about this, but it has been observed that the size of the flocks has diminished somewhat recently. The fact that they are smaller is thought to be due to the fact that new competitors for their habitat have arrived from other places. That's the last example for now. What I'd like you to consider is this. Is the planet Earth moving towards a one-world ecosystem? How far would it be a wholly bad development?
That is the end of section 4. You now have...
All right, let's check the answer. So number 31, what's the answer, Pana? You just start here. 31, what's the answer?
Atlantic.
Atlantic. So, can you spell Atlantic?
ATLANTIC.
You. Does everyone agree? Atlantic, number 31, that's the answer, Atlantic. Do you agree or you have different answers? Others?
Yes, I agree.
Okay, thank you. Number 32. 32, laying on, what's the answer? Imported to England to be used for?
For luxury food.
Luxury food or food source? Which one is the answer? You heard 3 words. Luxury food
Luxury
source.
food. Yeah, I heard that 3 words.
So you put luxury food, right?
Yes.
What are the others?
I put food.
I put food source. Food source.
Source. Okay. Anyone else put or have different answers? Nemo comes back. What May? What's your answer?
32, right? Yeah.
Yes, 32.
Food source.
Okay, so for this section, there are two possible answers. Thank you. You can put luxury food or food source. Both are okay. Very good. 33. Let's hear from. Hang on. Okay. It's Main's turn for 33.
City.
City, okay. Main said city. Anyone else has different answers? What about Contia? Number 33. Oh, what's your answer?
I put city garden.
Rachara, what's your answer?
City garden.
City garden. Mol, what was your answer? Did you get number 33 or you got disconnected?
I put garden.
Garden. All right, so for this section, the answers are city garden or garden. City, it's not correct because they specifically mentioned the gardens, not like the whole city, not everywhere in the city. So two choices, city garden or garden. 34, very good. 34, let's hear from, go back to Lane. Oh, Lane, 34.
34, earthworm.
Earthworm. Everyone agrees with Lane's answer, earthworm?
Now is it 2 words?
Earthworm, 1 word or 2 words? Guys?
3 words.
What about flatworm? Look at flatworm. 1 word or 2 words? Exactly. 1 word on earthworm. Okay, very good. Number 35, what's the answer? Panna again. Back to Panna. To improve.
Soil.
So, soil. S. Soil.
Soil.
Only soil.
Yeah.
Okay. What others did you guys get different answers, choices, or just the same thing? Soil. Okay. Anyone else has another answer to put in, or all of you have like soil as the answer?
I put only soil, like.
You only put soil as well, okay? Can
Soil condition.
Soil condition. So the answer is soil condition. Thank you. Very good. 36. The new habitat, Europe. Where is it? May, what's the answer? 36.
I think northwest.
Northwest. Thank you, Rachel. What was your answer to number 36?
The same.
The same. Very good.
Teacher, if northwest, we don't put hyphen, it's wrong, right?
Yes, on. If there's no hyphen, you're supposed to put 1 word, northwest.
Yeah.
Okay. 37. Accidental introduction inside imported. Contia?
I'm not sure, but I put plant pot.
Plant pot. Pot?
Yes, plant pot.
Pot.
Pot. P-O-T.
Okay. Others, do you agree?
Yes, I think so.
Okay. Rajara, same answer?
Yes.
Okay. Very good. So number 38, exotic pest from Japan, and that is mole. Oh no, mole. I think mole got disconnected when it comes to this section. Let's hear from Lane, then Lane on. What's the answer to 38?
I put seaweed. Seaweed.
Okay, thank you. 39, southeast. Southeast of what? 39. Who wants to answer number 39?
United States.
United States. State with S or no S? S or no S?
With S.
S. Chẳng click how to spell United States. All right, thank you. Last one before we move on. Smaller flocks because of arrival of. What's the answer to number 40? The last one we have for this section.
New competitor.
New competitor. Thank you. Is competitor plural or singular?
Plural, maybe.
Plural. So that's the first listening format of today. Next, we'll move on to another listening type, and that is pick from a list. So pick from a list is a listening question type that is quite similar to one more thing, and that is multiple choice question. But the only difference that pick from a list has is that, like our reading yes on Monday on, what's the difference between pick from a list and multiple choice question? Which one has more answer options?
Pick from the list. More answers.
More answers, okay. And pick from a list, the options. And or might not in order. Sometimes you might not hear that in the same order of what you see in your questions paper. So what tips do you normally apply when you face this kind of question, picking from a list? What are the tips that can help you do this more easily? Should you read all the choices carefully or no? So because when we discuss MCQ, sometimes we are recommended not to read the choices, just read the question. How about this one? Do you read the choices or no?
For me, I think I will need to read the choices.
Okay. What about others? Rachel, do you normally read the choices or no on?
I read.
Do you read the choices in detail or just like skim through it?
Skim through.
So it's recommended and very good that you should just skim through the choices, because if you read or you pay too much attention to the choices, you might not get what the speaker is trying to convey. What else? So unlike reading, is there or is it possible for you to cross out the options that you think might not be the answer? Because in reading, we can do that. Like we can cross out things that are not related to the questions. But in listening, is it possible to cross out some options or no? Guys? Can someone tell me, is it okay or is it possible for us to cross out the options that we think might not be about the topic or might not answer the questions? Like in reading, we could, last time we discussed. But listening, can we or can we not?
No.
No. Okay. Hard to eliminate option. Because it's listening, you don't know what it's about. Okay. Let's take a look at a quick source. So we'll look at this one. Sometimes they call the select from a list. So the tips on the right hand side. So questions in the listening paper are in the same order as the information you hear. This means you will hear the information you need for question 1 before you hear question 2. But like we said earlier, the answers are not in the right order of what you hear or of what you see on the questions paper. On the questions paper, they will put in random order. So look at the questions right here and list of possible answers. Before you listen, underline the key ideas you need to listen for, like what we discussed for reading. The question is, what two disadvantages of the new mobile phone does the speaker mention? So what is the key ideas or the answers that you need to listen for? This question.
Disadvantage
Disadvantage
of your
of
mobile phone.
your mobile phone. How
Your
many?
mobile phone. Two.
All right, so here are the options. So like you said, you can scan a list if you want to, or you can just skim it. But my recommendation is to just skim and get the general idea of the options you are given, because it's easier that way. Okay, so look at the questions, look at the options. I'll play the listening. So remember, you said two disadvantages of new mobile phone. Read the options while I go and get our listenings ready. So listening number 15.
Recording 15.
Okay, ready? Let's go.
In today's show, I'm going to be looking at what's new in technology this week. And I'd like to start by looking at the much-awaited EP16 mobile phone from technology giants Optiware. It has some amazing features. The first thing you notice is how much slimmer and lighter it is compared to the heavier, older models. It's incredible considering that they have actually increased the screen size on this one, though it still fits neatly into your pocket. They've also improved the camera, and you'll find you can take much better quality photos on this model. This has an impact on the battery though, as it takes a lot of power, and I found it didn't run for very long before needing to be recharged. Despite all its amazing features, it's extremely easy to use, but I do have to say that it is overpriced and will be beyond the budget of most people shopping for a new phone.
All right, so what are the answers? What was the first answer that they mentioned in the listening? Which one? A to E. What's the answer? Okay, continue on. What's the first answer you hear?
B.
The first one, or not? Let's discuss the order of the answer you hear. B or D? Continue. Which one?
B. B bong.
D. Okay, it has a short.
Because it is overpriced.
Okay, so you said B. Okay, so did you hear B first or you hear section another one first? Do you heard B?
I heard about the
Yes, B is the answer, but they said overpriced. But in the listening, do you hear B got mentioned first or another answer was mentioned first?
Another answer.
And
Another answer.
another answer. And what is that answer?
A.
Which one? Can you read the options? Because sometimes during it's pretty laggy, so I can't hear the letter very well. So what's the first answer that was mentioned in the listening?
A.
D. It has a short A. It is
No,
quite
A.
It is quite big.
Yeah.
I think D. I
You
should
think D. It has a short battery life. Anyone else has a different answer? Thank you all. So we have D and E now. There are two. Rachel, what's your other answer besides B, the one that was mentioned first?
I put D.
It has a short battery life. Okay, thank you.
Yes.
So the answer that got mentioned first in the audio file was letter D. It has a short battery life. That's when she finished mentioning about how good it is at taking photographs, blah, blah, blah. Like it has very advanced functions, but then she said, but it has effects on battery life. It won't last long before you need to charge it again. Very good. So the answers are B and D. So you hear D got mentioned first and then B was mentioned next. Thank you. So far, any problem with the two questions format, table completion and picking from a list? How is it? Before we move on to another longer practice. Any problem? Someone say something? You guys are all muted. Not even turn your camera on. No?
No problem.
No problem. All right. For sure, you have no problem. Then we'll go to a longer practice version. Hang on. Okay, can you see the screen now?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll practice listening, but this is a combination of the previous question type we looked at last week as well, since you haven't finished my practice in my class yet. So we'll have this one in a form completion format. Look at this. And we'll have this one as a pick from a list format. So there are two kinds of questions. We'll finish at question 14. We won't continue to 15. It's a different format. So let's start. I'll just play and I'll scroll the questions according to the instruction. How many questions? So first thing first, let's go.
You will hear a number of different recordings, and you will have to answer questions on what you hear. There will be time for you to read the instructions and questions, and you will have a chance to check your work. All the recordings will be played once only. The test is in 4 sections. At the end of the test, you will be given 10 minutes to transfer your answers to an answer sheet. Now turn to section 1. Section 1. You will hear a woman reporting a theft to an officer in a police station. First, you have some time to look at questions 1 to 3.
So, okay. Look instruction carefully. How many words? And 1 to 3 only.
Now we shall begin. You should answer the questions as you listen because you will not hear the recording a second time. Listen carefully and answer questions 1 to 3.
Good morning. What can I do for you?
I want to report a theft. I had some things stolen out of my bag yesterday.
I'm sorry to hear that. Right, so I'll need to take a few details. Can I start with your name?
Louise Taylor.
Okay, thank you. And are you resident in the UK?
No, I'm actually Canadian, though my mother was British.
And your date of birth?
December 14th, 1977.
So you're just visiting this country?
That's right. I come over most summers on business. I'm an interior designer, and I come over to buy old furniture, antiques, you know? There are some really lovely things around here, but you need to get out to the small towns. I had a really good trip this year, until this happened.
Okay. So you've been here quite a while?
Yes, I'm here for 2 months. I go back next week.
So may I ask where you're staying now?
Well, at present, I've got a place at Park Apartments. That's on King Street. I was staying at the Riverside Apartments on the same street, but the apartment there was only available for 6 weeks, so I had to find another one.
Okay. And the apartment number?
15.
Right.
Before you hear the rest of the conversation, you have some time to look at questions 4 to 10. Now listen and answer questions 4 to 10.
Now, I need to take some details of the theft. So you said you had some things stolen out of your bag?
That's right.
And were you actually carrying the bag when the theft took place?
Yes, I...
Yeah, I know, that's why I pause the recording. We'll resume from number 4 again. We just got cut off. All right, so we'll continue from number 4.
Market to buy a few things.
Now listen and answer questions 4 to 10.
Now, I need to take some details of the theft. So you said you had some things stolen out of your bag?
That's right.
And were you actually carrying the bag when the theft took place?
Yes, I really can't understand it. I had my backpack on, and I went into a supermarket to buy a few things, and when I opened it up, my wallet wasn't there.
And what did your wallet have in it?
Well, fortunately, I don't keep my credit cards in that wallet. I keep them with my passport in an inside compartment in my backpack, but there was quite a bit of cash there, about 250 pounds sterling, I should think. I withdrew 300 pounds from my account yesterday, but I did a bit of shopping, so I must have already spent about 50 pounds of that.
Okay.
At first I thought, oh, I must have left the wallet back in the apartment. But then I realized my phone had gone as well. It was only a week old, and that's when I realized I'd been robbed. Anyway, at least they didn't take the keys to my rental car.
Yes. So you say the theft occurred yesterday?
Yes.
So that was September the 10th? And do you have any idea at all of where or when the things might possibly have been stolen?
Well, at first I couldn't believe it because the bag had been on my back ever since I left the apartment after lunch. It's just a small backpack, but I generally use it when I'm traveling because it seems safer than a handbag. Anyway, I met up with a friend, and we spent a couple of hours in the museum. But I do remember that as we were leaving there, at about 4 o'clock, a group of young boys ran up to us, and they were really crowding round us, and they were asking us what time it was. Then all of a sudden, they ran off.
Can you remember anything about them?
The one who did most of the talking was wearing a t-shirt with a picture of something. Let's see. A tiger.
Right. Any idea of how old he might have been?
Around 12 years old?
And can you remember anything else about his appearance?
Not much. He was quite thin.
Color of hair?
I do remember that. He was blonde. All the others were dark-haired.
And any details of the others?
Not really. They came and went so quickly.
Right. So what I'm going to do now is give you a crime reference number so you can contact your insurance company. So this is 10 digits. 87954 82361.
Thank you. So, should I contact?
That is the end of section 1. You now have half a minute to check your answers. Now turn to section 2. Section 2. You will hear a manager giving a welcome talk to a group of apprentices who are starting their training at the company. First, you have some time to look at questions 11 to 14. Now listen carefully and answer questions 11 to 14.
Good morning, everyone. My name's Janet Parker, and I'm the Human Resources Manager. We're very happy to welcome you to your new apprenticeship. I hope that the next 6 months will be a positive and enjoyable experience for you. I'd like to start with some general advice about being an apprentice. Most of you have very little or no experience of working for a big organization, and the first week or so may be quite challenging. There will be a lot of new information to take in, but don't worry too much about trying to remember everything. The important thing is to check with someone if you're not sure what to do. You'll find your supervisor is very approachable and won't mind explaining things or helping you out. You're here to learn, so make the most of that opportunity. You'll be spending time in different departments during your first week, so make an effort to talk to as many people as possible about their work. You'll make some new friends and find out lots of useful information. As well as having a supervisor, you'll each be assigned a mentor. This person will be someone who's recently completed an apprenticeship, and you'll meet with them on a weekly basis. Their role is to provide help and support throughout your apprenticeship. Of course, this doesn't mean they'll actually do any of your work for you. Instead, they'll be asking you about what goals you've achieved so far, as well as helping you to identify any areas for improvement. You can also discuss your more long-term ambitions with them as well.
Before you hear the rest of the talk, you have some time to look at questions 50.
Okay, let's check the answer so we can find out how many mistakes you make. Number one, we'll do a bottom-up method. So let's hear from Kunti first. Number one on, what's the answer?
Canadian mong. Canadian.
Is this how you spelled it?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Number two, more. More.
Furniture.
Can you spell furniture?
Furniture. S.
Okay. S? Okay. Lane, three.
I heard King Street.
Can you spell what you heard?
K-I-N-G.
K-I-N-G.
S-T or W-A-T.
Okay, that's Lane's answer. Thank you. May, 4.
250.
450.
No.
No?
Like, two.
250. Okay, thank you. Number 5. Pane, 5. Phone. Okay. Go to number 6 again. Go back to May. Number 6. Date of theft.
September 10.
September 10. More 7th. Outside the museum. Thank you. 8. Lane. Some boys ask for the
time.
Okay. Kunthia, 9.
With blonde hair.
How do you spell blonde?
B-L-O-N-D.
Okay. Rachel, last one. Crime reference number allocated. There should be 10 digits.
879548231.
Okay, thank you. Hannah, 11 on, what's one of your answer? 11, 12, what, just choose one.
A,
right? Okay. May, number, one more answer.
I think I choose A.
Can you learn? Or can you read out on? I cannot hear clearly.
Enjoy new challenge.
Enjoy new challenges. All right, thank you. Number 13, more. What's one of your answers to 13 and 14? More?
B.
B, okay. And Lane, one more option.
I chose C.
C. Okay, let's check your answers. How many right and how many wrong answers? So number 1, Canadian, very good. Number 2, furniture, uncount noun, mole, so there's no S. Number 3, park, lane. She mentioned park and then she mentioned King Street and then she said but. So the apartment on King Street is available only for 6 weeks. So the answer was park apartment, the first option. Number 2, 250, we got the right answer. Number 3, phone, 10th December. Museum, time, blonde. You can put A or no E, your choice. Okay, the number. Okay, same number. A and C, B and E. Okay, let's remember A, C, B, E. Let's check our answer. So on this one, the answer is C, not E. Okay, A and C. She mentioned about something, make use of this opportunity, and the supervisor will answer all the questions you have. So make use of this opportunity, ask questions. So it's C, B, and E. So she also said something about you will have a mentor, but who will assist you in completing tasks, but they won't be doing that. Okay. Actually, the answer is A because that's when she said they will help you check what you have been doing so far and see your progress or see if you need to improve anything else. So these are the answers. So far, so good. Mayai. We will have our first quiz on Friday. Any objection? So tonight you will be free. You will not have to do any practice since you won't do that anyway. Up until this day, I'm still waiting for your answers.
Submitted already.
Submitted when I checked earlier and I couldn't
find. Just at 5:05.
So on Friday we'll test out how much you've got. So in that quiz you will be timed. So you won't have all the time you want to use. So let's say you will have 2 reading questions. Sorry, 2 reading texts, and it will be 40 minutes only for 2020. So once 40 minutes over, you will have submit your answer. So anyone will be coming late on Friday. Anna, will you be late until 6 again?
Yeah.
What do you mean? Yeah, you're gonna be late.
Yeah.
So because of the listening, in that section, I'll play the recording through my laptop. So maybe you can start reading questions first then, Anna. And when you're here, I'll play the listening. And then you start reading questions later. Any questions? Any suggestions? Any issues for Friday's quiz? Or you want to like postpone it or something? Or you guys are all like, cool with the quiz on Friday? Okay. No problem. Oh, camera. Friday camera on. So I can see you doing the quiz, not off like this. I can see your name and a black screen and Panna's face. Only 2 of us right now. Guys, hello?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, no.
Okay, Friday.
Yes.
On. All right. So, continue to watch cháu ấy. Bật từ mình biết. Okay, so any problem so far? Any questions? You've been very quiet.
No question.
No questions. Okay, camera on Friday. Agree? Deal?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yes.
If no problem, review or study or practice what I gave you so far, so you can like time yourself how many minutes you need to do a reading passage, so we can start on Friday the quiz. If no problem, we're going to end our class today, and I'll see you on Friday. Good luck.
Bye.
Bye.
See you, Bo.
Bye.